Hello, my fellow Welt lovers. Before we dive into the internet-wide meltdown over the Fate collab, let me hit you with some much-needed crumbs that are actually getting people excited again. Because yes, while the crossover event might have left a lot of players feeling like they were force-fed gacha slop on a golden plate, there's still life and hype in the air, and it starts with our boy Dan Heng SP. And no, this isn't just a reskin. We're talking modeled tail supremacy, baby. Not just idle animation fluff, he's got a full-on, rigged tail. That thing is real. And honestly, it's poetic. We might not be getting his full Chrysos armor in playable form, more on that in a sec. But the tail? The tail lives. Tail enjoyers rise. Topping up in Genshin or Star Rail can get expensive, and let's be honest, we've all seen those in-game prices and wished they were just a bit lower. Well, that's exactly what LD Shop is here for. This is LD Shop, the official top-up platform developed by the LD Player Emulator Group. It lets you top up your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Star Rail at huge discounts, up to 23% off or more. And yeah, it's super easy to use. All you need is your server and UID, and your top-up will show up in-game within just a few minutes. It's safe, reliable, and used by thousands of players. You can even compare prices, for example, something like the Supply Pass or a 6480 Stellar Jade Bundle. It's way cheaper here than in-game. If you register using my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon and an extra 5% off coupon, which can save you up to $50 on your first top-ups. Plus, LD Shop gives you the same first top-up bonus you get in-game, so you're not missing out on anything. And if you're planning to spend more, here's a bonus. If you spend over $80, you'll unlock VIP status, which gives you a free supply pass and more perks. So if you're looking to save while still getting everything you normally would in-game, just use the link in the description and get Fane on, or the Fate collab characters while saving more. But yeah, some people have raised a brow at the new design. The question, is he handsome? Got answered with a pretty fair take. The Droma-style horns look a little off compared to the classic dragon aesthetic. Some longtime Dan enjoyers said they miss the traditional horn vibe. Not a deal breaker, just something that takes time to adjust to. Then there's the armor silhouette situation. You remember that gorgeous, knightly silhouette teased during the Amphireus drop? Well, turns out it didn't make it into the final model. That's not speculation, it's confirmed. And a lot of people are kind of scratching their heads about it. After all, every Chrysos Air silhouette so far has been a near-perfect match to the final model. So, why not this one? Some players are trying to make peace with it by leaning into story theory. Maybe that silhouette belongs to the last cycle Terravox, a previous version of Amphireus before Dan Heng enters the new cycle. It would kinda explain the bait and switch. But even so, people are still left wondering why the marketing team hyped it up like it was Dan Heng's battle-ready transformation, only to drop it entirely. The drip marketing had everyone feral, and then it just vanished. Meanwhile, March 7th SP with red eyes? A total win. You see red eyes on a character like her, and you know we're either heading into mega lore implications, or she's getting ready to do some psychological damage in a pastel hoodie. Either way, people are eating that up. And honestly, we need it. Because the Fate event? Yeah, we gotta talk about it. And I mean we as in the community, not just me. So let's be clear. I'm not here to throw shade for drama. But what's being said across the board? It's not pretty. The overall sentiment from the fanbase, particularly Fate fans, is one of deep disappointment. And it's not just the typical nitpicking you'd expect when two fanbases collide. This is a case where even the most optimistic reviewers are calling it a massive letdown. You had creators like Genazad outright labeling it a disaster. Even those who usually give Hoyoverse the benefit of the doubt are coming out with criticism that's more blunt than usual. And the pattern across forums, comment sections, and social media? It's pretty consistent. The event just didn't live up to the standards expected of either franchise. People are pointing to a few core issues, and again, I want to emphasize that this is community sentiment, not just a personal take. First off, the story structure. Fans felt it lacked any real stakes, emotional depth, or connection to the core themes of the Fate universe. The so-called Holy Grail War didn't feel like a war at all. There were no battles, no sense of danger, no tension. Instead, the tone felt inconsistent. Some even described it as a parody that didn't know it was a parody. For a franchise known for high-concept storytelling, deep philosophical undertones, and weighty character arcs, the Fate content in HSR came off as thin and surface-level. Another sore point? The summoning ritual scene. This one was almost universally panned. What should have been a climactic, lore-heavy moment turned into what multiple fans described as a goofy slideshow. One person said it felt like someone added cartoon sound effects to a scene that should have made me cry. Ouch. That's a brutal sentiment, but you get the point. It didn't hit the emotional notes it was supposed to. There were expectations of gravitas and spectacle, and instead, fans got something that felt rushed and tonally off. And then there's the content reuse. Recycled maps, recycled NPC models, and asset reuse to a degree that even casual players started noticing. There was a lot of discussion about Faenon's area being reused for Saber's origin, leading to the now infamous joke that Faenon is British. And fans weren't laughing because it was clever, they were laughing because it was absurd. This is supposed to be a collaboration between two giants, and it gave off the vibe of a rushed side quest. One that, according to the community, lacked polish and priority. Oh, and don't even get people started on caster and assassin. These two key servant roles were reduced to generic NPCs with little to no presence. One fan even said, it felt like they were ashamed to put recognizable servants in the story, so they just didn't. Combine that with Lancer not being playable, despite having a unique model, and the disappointment just piles on. As one post summed it up, they modeled Lancer. He has animations. Why isn't he playable? And honestly, it's a fair question. Now, the silent audio in English has become its own controversy. Unlike other languages which were fully voiced, the English dub of the collaboration was completely silent, no voice lines, no fallback to Japanese, nothing. At first, some players assumed it was a quirky fourth-wall gag or a stylistic choice. But as it dragged on, that theory fell apart. The lack of any voice direction in such an emotionally significant event left scenes feeling hollow, especially when fans were expecting the voice work to elevate the experience. This could have been a self-aware moment, one fan wrote, but instead, it's just empty. Like the devs stopped halfway through and said, good enough. For many players, being forced to switch languages or download extra files just to hear the dialogue felt like a slap in the face, and it soured the experience even further. And then there's the interview, the one between Xiaoji and Kanoko Nasu. In theory, it was supposed to reassure fans. Instead, it left people more confused. Because here's what they said, Xiaoji is a Fate superfan. The writing team had full immersion. Nasu had almost no feedback and gave his seal of approval. But the final product? Feels like none of that care made it into the story. So the community started wondering, did Nasu even read it? Did the dev team really have the freedom they said they did? Or was this just a vision that got lost in translation during development? One of the more common theories floating around is that the event was rewritten late in the pipeline, maybe even after production had started. There's evidence of characters like Sparkle being present in early trailers but absent from the final content. Fans believe that what we saw wasn't the original plan, and that something went wrong during production. Whether that's true or not, the fact that it's a widely accepted theory says a lot about the trust level right now. But here's the nuance that's important. Most players don't think this was a passionless project. In fact, many believe the opposite, that this was meant to be incredible, that it was born from love for both IPs. That's what makes the disappointment feel so heavy. This wasn't just a lazy cash grab. It was a dream project with good intentions that collapsed under bad execution. That hurts more than if they'd just never tried. So while we're out here coping with missing armor, Red-Eyed March, and Dan Heng's glorious tale, the Fate collab remains a sobering moment for the HSR community. It was a reminder that hype and talent aren't enough on their own. Execution matters. Consistency matters. And if even a project with this much potential can miss the mark, then well, let's hope lessons were learned. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you still holding on to hope that future reruns can fix this? Did you find parts of the collab redeemable? Or are you just here waiting for SP Dan Heng to tail whip away your disappointment? Either way, stay strong, fellow trailblazers. The cycle continues.